Yeah guys, how's it going? So welcome back to another episode, and today we'd be looking at the actual UI and UX of Claude and Codex in particular. Now I have, this is my live system, so you can obviously see that a lot of things are working and maybe the video gets paused as well. So I'll try to do, a very deep dive as much as I can. So if you're new to this channel, this is AI for all, and right now we've still not started. We're just taking you through all of the different, components that are available on your Claude or your Codex. We're going to start off with Codex and then go over to Claude. So Codex is pretty simple to use. This is where you talk most of the time whenever you want to chat with AI. If you click the plus icon, you can basically, attach a bunch of different things right here. Like for example, you can attach whatever other particular app you're working with. Right now this says Finder because I'm on a Mac and my Finder window is open in the background. You can attach files, folders, MP4, images, PDFs, Excel files, whatever you want. Goal is basically a variant of a prompt in which basically you guys understand that how we have to prompt AI to do something, right? With Goal, what you can do is that you can have it basically just run on and off itself. So it basically does something, looks at your original prompt, goes back, tries to do it all over again, and you can have this running for days. So yeah, that's really powerful. Plan mode is something that you can also enable from the keyboard as well. In fact, a lot of these things you can enable from the keyboard. Plan mode is basically just asking AI to not dive into doing the thing exactly, but first taking some time off and planning how to do the thing. So it will ask you a bunch of questions and then go from there. There are different plugins right here that we will also go through. That's not important right now because there are a bunch of ways in which you can toggle these plugins as well. So this is what it looks like. I usually like to give full access. Full access basically means that it's not going to stop you and ask you to approve actions that it's going to take on your machine. I personally prefer this. Some people, when they're working with production databases, they're very high security stuff, they just switch this to ask for approval. But honestly, these models have gotten good enough. This is basically the model picker. Right now the latest one is GPT 5.6 actually, but because of the US government, they're not rolling it out to everyone, so I'm still on 5.5. Speed, just keep it standard. Your reasoning, keep it light. I think 5.5 light is good enough for 99% of the work. I barely go above light in most of the cases. We want this to work locally. We don't want a work tree. We don't necessarily want to go into a cloud environment just yet. I don't think a lot of people actually will benefit from that. The benefit of having this in the cloud is that you can wipe code with your phone, which basically means you can work on stuff from your phone as well. But to be very honest, if you want to get into this seriously, I would still suggest that you can go to the cloud later on down the line. For now, just start with you can actually working locally. This is where you can see how much usage you've got left. So of course, based on which plan you're on, I'm on the pro plan, it's the $200 plan. You guys can choose the $20 plan as well or the $100 plan as well. It's completely up to you. This entire tutorial will not depend on what kind of plan you're on, right? This, most probably you will not be seeing this, but if you see this, just choose main, right? I'm not even going to get into GitHub at this particular point of time. Now, if you click here, you're going to see there will be a lot of different projects right here, right? So you can actually go for an existing folder, which is where all of your files already are. Use that, start from scratch, as in it will create a folder on your computer in which you're going to start stacking all of the information. You can say don't work in a project. This is when you just basically want to have light conversations about whatever the thing is. This is basically new chat, which, I mean, if the name doesn't make sense, if we were doing something here, it would just create a new chat. You can search through all of the different ones that we have got, right? Scheduled is basically all of the different automations that we've got up and running. This is something that we will set up later on down the line. For example, this is one where I have Codex get all of my online transcripts through Granola. So you can see that it's, it will now run next time in 19 hours from now. It runs later on. So you can see that, for example, that okay, no new chat was found. So this is really good that you can have scheduled tasks running, right? Instead of you prompting every single time, think of it daily at 8 a.m. or weekly at 7 p.m. on a Sunday, it's going to launch something and do the job. You can actually click this button right here, which is called create via chat or create manually, to actually create these automations as well. We don't have to get into that right now. I'm just taking you through the whole thing. Plugins are super important. They're connectors, but in Codex, Connectors in Claude are basically one of the reasons why Claude took off in the first place. So if you guys remember, Claude basically connects with a lot of different applications, right? So you've got Vercel, GitHub, Gmail connectors, Google Drive, whatnot. So I think Codex also offers like a bunch of very good plugins. So you can see these are all of the ones that I have got installed. I've got like, of course, Google Docs, PDF, spreadsheets, presentations, template creator, browser, Chrome, computer ruse, record and replay, cloud MD management, code simplifier, GitHub, Google Drive, and like 12 more. So these are all the ones that I have. I'm just going to take you through all of them. They're completely free to use, by the way. In fact, a bunch of them I don't even need. Like Hugging Face I don't even need anymore. I just have it for the sake of it. I would still say like don't add them like unnecessarily, because otherwise it can definitely be problematic for you. You can actually go beneath here and see like what are all of the things that you use day to day. So if you're somebody who already uses softwares and digital stuff, you can actually, let's just say you're at a small or medium company and you use Slack, right? So does Slack have a plugin? Surprise, lo and behold, Slack does have a plugin. I don't use Slack, and that's the reason I don't have Slack installed in mine, but you can definitely install it there. It is quite helpful when you want to pull context from these particular applications, right? Rather than just like screenshotting or doing anything like that. We'll get to that as well. Usually this is where all of the pinned chats will appear. So you can pin a chat by Command Option P on your keyboard. On Windows it's going to be different. I'm not going to pin anything right now, but I'm just like showing it. This is how like you can have like different things. These are all like different folders right here for like whatnot, and you can have like all of them right here, and all of these are different folders on my computer. Each of them have different, how do you put it, different chats in them. I cannot show you the chats because of privacy, but yeah. And these are like random chats that are out there, right, that you can use definitely. So this is, if you create a new chat and you don't assign it a folder, it ends up in this one right here, which is chats. If you assign it a folder, then it ends up under the corresponding folder right here. So long story short, that's how it works. This button is for connecting your mobile, right? So this is how you can connect your mobile into it. Now I will of course be hitting refresh right here because I have now broadcasted this to the internet, which is of course unsafe. So I'll be refreshing that in a while. On your particular account, like you click this, you can see like this, you can see your email with which you've used to sign up, you can see its personal account, you can see profile. So let's go with profile first. And boom, you're gonna see how much of my Codex usage has been there, right? You can see that I use browser a lot, I use GrillMe as a skill a lot, build web apps, Chrome, Vercel, I use these quite a lot, right? But we're gonna come back for just like about a moment because I wanted to show you something else, right? So after profile, you go to settings, right? These are basically what all of the things are. My general advice to you is change nothing in them, okay? Like change nothing in them. It's basically just the same exact thing. I honestly don't think you have to change anything. Maybe like appearance you may want to change to like system, or like you may want something else. You can actually copy my settings right here. They're pretty chill, to be honest. I don't think there is anything like important that much. This is basically my personal user profile. Most of this information is already out there, just in general. This is for like custom instructions. So if you ever want to like have like very specific information piece out there, so my LinkedIn, personal email, business email and stuff like that, like I think most of the people already have access to, so I can show this one. But you, like if I scroll down within it, you can also see my phone number. Now that is something I've only given access to Codex and Claude because sometimes I get like personal documents also made. So yeah, that's about it. These are some of the things that I have enabled. Chronicle Research Preview is basically like, this is a little bit different because it's like a new feature that they're rolling out. So it's up to you whether or not you want to enable this. This means that they can basically they can basically see what's on your screen all the time. Now I have enabled this because like my work usually revolves around OpenAI quite a lot. Otherwise, if you're like really worried about your privacy, then you can switch this off as well. Pets, I don't use pets. Pets are basically like, like just companions that sit on your Codex and like, have fun with you right there. I really do not care that much. Sorry. Keyboard shortcuts, you can configure them. You can go through all of the keyboard shortcuts, how Chrome and Microsoft Word and all of these have like their own specific keyboard shortcuts. You can look at right there. My usage and billing is right here. You can look at, what is the kind of stuff I have right now. So I'm on like the topmost pro plan right here. God bless my Indian debit card, still working overtime even though I'm in the UAE. And honestly, I will not be able to hit my usage limits. Like that's the best part about Codex. Like it's super efficient. You guys need to understand that I have a goal running for like 2 days at this point of time. and I've barely managed to hit 56%, and today is June the 28th, and by July the 2nd it will be refreshed. And also on top of that, I have 3 limit resets setting in my bank, which means that this entire thing will reset for me. I can reset it like thrice at whatever time I want, which is insane, right? But for those of you who are new to AI models in general, 5-hour usage limit is how much can you use it over the next 5 hours. So we're still at like 94% left, and then weekly usage limit is how much can you use it before the next week comes in, right? And now you might be thinking, wait a second, that means that even if I pay, I'm still limited? Yes, the answer is you're still limited, but for most of the people, 99% of you, if you're not like going into AI for like a very extensive amount of work, just like the $20 plan will actually suit you for Codex. Like, just don't worry about it. App Shots is very interesting. It basically allows you to like take any card out there. So let me actually see what I can do. Let's go to like Wikipedia, right? I can basically do this, that let's just say I am on Wikipedia and I am reading FIFA, right? Because it's like ongoing right now, right? So I basically come to FIFA and I'm like, wow, this is really important. I think I should talk to Codex about this, right? I just press like both the command keys on my keyboard and this exact thing happens. Boom. You see what happens? It basically gets like attached. Yeah, it basically gets attached right here. And that's like the best part about it. What AppShot does is that it's a little bit different from Screenshot, because Screenshot, it will only take like the image. AppShot also takes all of the text on the entire web page and pushes there. That's basically why they call it AppShot, right? MCP servers, you can create your own. I will not like go into MCP servers just yet, because I think they can be a little bit weird. Browser, I would highly recommend you like just enable this. You will not, you will love me for this. Same thing with computer use, enable everything. MCP servers, let me see. You can like basically have it all, like you will not have a lot of these MCP servers preloaded here, so don't worry about it. Don't be like, hey, wait a second, why is my empty? It's because I've worked a lot on this, that's why these are here. We are going to go through MCPs as well, but I just don't want you to like waste your time here when you can be doing so much more. So like, don't worry about it, okay? So browser, turn on of it on. Browser, turn all of it on. Hooks, you don't have to care about it. Connections, this is basically all the things that can, like you can connect this Codex on this computer using your phone, your other laptop and stuff like that. You can set up connections if you have like multiple devices, like if you have more than one laptop or you work with your phone and stuff like that, so you can use this. Git, you don't have to worry about this so much. If you use GitHub, then it's for you, but if you don't use GitHub and if you're like, what the hell is GitHub? You don't have to worry about it then. Okay, we are going to come to that in due time. You know, environments are all there. You don't have to worry about it. Again, don't have to worry about it. Same thing with work trees. Same thing with chat settings. Don't have to worry about any of it. It's not going to be of any help to you. Now, if somebody signs up using your link, you basically get another limit reset, I think. If I look at like usage remaining, like guys, I have like 3 resets remaining, right? And I've barely scratched the surface of this. But this was Codex down to a level where you can actually use it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to actually show you guys this. If you press Command J, if you press this button right here, toggle panel, boom, it opens up a terminal. And now you would be like, what the hell is a terminal? A terminal is basically what developers used to code on for the longest period of time, okay? Before like IDEs took over the world. And what that basically means is, this is, you know, in movies, whenever you see hackers like doing anything, yeah, they're doing it on this, right? You want to see something really cool? I can basically do this, and what will now happen is that Claude will now basically work. Claude will now basically work in Codex. I mean, it's not working in Codex. It's just that I have access to terminal through Codex, and like in that terminal, I'm using Claude. So it's not like, you know, now Codex is going to start talking with Claude, although you can do that and we will do that in the future. But it's not like so simple. I just wanted to show you that if you understand what a terminal is, you can even access it from here. If you do not understand what any of this was, don't worry about it, okay? I know it might be a little bit overwhelming for you, don't worry about it, okay? What happens if I press this? You can actually open up terminal here as well, just similar to what I just showed you, or you can open browser. This is going to be a very big game changer for like some of the applications that we're going to look out for. The big change is that, of course, you can only open one single tab at any given point of time, but the good thing is that you can actually, you know, log into your accounts here. So I'll not show them to you right now, but you can access your WhatsApp, your Gmail, and set up automations like scheduled runs. It's like scheduled prompts every single day. They happen and they use your WhatsApp, your email and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So we will get there in like due time whenever we do, okay? Okay, so let's move over to Claude. Now, as you can see, Claude is like very similar, right? Pretty much a spitting copy of the same thing. Okay, you guys can do this, okay? What do you think this is? Good. Model. Model plus effort. We were on low there. I usually go with medium. Opus 4.8 is like their latest Opus model. Actually, the latest model is Fable 5, which is unavailable because I'm not a US citizen. And somehow the governments really love policing people as to what they can and cannot do. So we're stuck here. So 4.8 effort medium, that's good enough. Cowork is a feature I'll explain in just about a minute. But this is basically what you see. You can like dictate directly into it. You can talk directly into this. It's actually a very similar thing that you could do with Codex as well. We just don't really care about it. Like I practically never found myself using this. I just use Whisperflow, which is like another device that can basically allow something like this to happen. So, you know, you press a button and boom, it just goes in there. It's like super easy. Same thing with this voice mode. This is very similar to like if you use ChatGPT, they have like a voice mode in there. Again, I don't really use it. You can, you know, let me actually like just tell you a little bit about it. Files and photos, very simple to understand. You can have different projects as well in Claude, right? You can add from GitHub. We will go through what projects are just in like a second. Add from GitHub. If you don't use GitHub, you don't have to worry about it. Skills, I have like a bunch of different skills that I use. Skills are also something that exists within Codex as well, but I would say they're just not that much in your face. But skills do exist in Codex as well. You can use the same skills between Codex and Claude as well. What are skills? Skills are basically repeatable prompts. Basically, if you, let's just say you work really hard to get a prompt right, such that it does whatever you want it to do. Now, you wake up tomorrow, you want the same thing to happen again. Oh my God, how do you do it? You turn it into a skill and such that it can refire every single time, right? Connectors is the same as plugins there. Plugins in Claude mean a little bit different thing as compared to plugins in Codex. But, you know, for right now, you can think like plugins in Codex are the same as connectors in Claude, right? Plugins here are basically a bunch of different things together. So like plugins in Claude are basically the application, any skills of the application and any additional info as well. So the plugins in Claude are a little bit more role specific. So for example, they would be like design plugin or engineering plugin and stuff like that. So they would be more for like, you know, everything needed to do a particular kind of job. I have to be very honest with you. I'm not a very big fan of plugins of Claude. So I don't really use them. Research is the same, like deep research of ChatGPT, which basically means that it is going to take 30 minutes, but it can research a lot of different things and like bring you the answer. You can achieve something very similar in the ChatGPT application as well. So if you're if you're like looking at this and you're like, hey, wait a second, you know, Codex does not have these options. It actually does. They're just baked into it. Claude just like ChatGPT plus Codex is equal to Claude. Does that make Claude better simply because it's like equal to two different things added together? No, it's just a design choice. Okay, that's it. So don't lose yourself just now in the moment. Cowork is a little bit different because Cowork immediately makes this a lot like Codex. Okay, what happened? You see project or folder just came up, right? You can choose not to select any, similar to how we were doing it in Codex as well, right? You can give it complete. Act means complete permission. Ask before acting is the same as, you know, ask, seek for approval. It has 2 times more usage until July 5, which means that the usage, you know how in Codex we were seeing that, you know, the limits were like exhausting really fast. It's going to exhaust a little bit slowly till July the 5th. Okay, so that's what this basically means. Let's look at what's on the sidebar. Okay, design is basically Claude design. And Claude design is a little bit specific because that is something that Codex does not yet have. So we are going to go over it, but we are going to go over it at the end, okay? New task. Do you really want me to tell you what this would be? Of course, it's the same thing as this, right? If I actually turn this off, see, it becomes new chat. You get me? So it's basically just the same old thing. New tasks, new things. Projects is very interesting because projects, what it can allow you to do is that projects are basically kind of like folders, but for chats themselves. What the hell did I just say? Projects can exist, like, you know how ChatGPT has chats, projects? Same thing here. They're like groups, you can upload something. Let me actually see if I can show you guys one of these. Yeah, like imagine like I have like the wealth one open, right? So this is how it looks, right? I can disable co-work, I can enable co-work, that's completely fine. So I can also start from within a project itself. So one option is that I attach a project right here, right, add to project. The other option is that I simply go to projects, open up wealth and start working here. You can set up projects on your own. You can like give custom instructions there. You can basically like edit memory right here. Files are the big thing, because files are basically like the big unlock whenever you're using projects. Okay, you can basically attach like, you know, ebooks that you have read, or like, you know, cold email copy that you are really inspired by, and have it like kind of understand everything. Add instructions that, you know, like for Claude specifically, that, hey, you know, do this only for this particular space right here. Like for example, if you're in wealth, then you can add information or instructions about how to respond in this particular like chats which are from this particular project. The problem with this honestly is that what the hell is the difference between space instructions and instructions? You get me? Now this is the exact kind of problem I have with Anthropic whenever they make these kinds of like little changes, right? Same thing, like context and everything are perfectly fine, like that's not exactly like a problem, but you know, like instructions and space instructions, they don't really make a lot of sense to me. Like why are they different? But anyway, so that's basically what that is. Artifacts, if I have to be honest with you guys, I literally have not used artifacts in a really long time. Artifacts are basically just like publishable stuff that you can make quickly in Claude, but honestly, you just never end up using them. Like I'm just being real with you guys, like production ready stuff, you don't require this at all. So like skip artifacts altogether is what I would suggest. Like I don't use them at least. If you use them, like, congratulations, maybe you can teach me one day as well. If I come down to schedule, this is very similar to automations in Codex. Just scheduled run, you can create a new task, just create with Claude, set up manually, sort by next one, whatever you want. You can just, same thing, we will do these at our own due time. So this is very, very interesting. This is basically, you know, how one can use, you know, like using my phone, I can actually like control stuff on my computer. Same as computer use on Codex. But I personally feel, maybe they have improved this over time, but the Codex computer use has just been like better experience for me. I have found this to be like really, really finicky, that sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. And last time I checked, they did not have like, you know, different like message specific streams. So for example, you would have to say everything in a single chat through your phone. They did not have like different chats in which you could go. So like at one point you could be sorting out restaurants, the other one you could be doing B2B lead scraping, in the third one you could be like making something for your family, right? So I do not think like Claude allows for that. Maybe they do, maybe they've changed, who knows, you know. So that's just basically what I would say. I've practically never used these, to be very honest with you guys, because I never had to clean out anything, because when I was using Claude a lot more, I practically hated using dispatch because I just thought it was just broken, and it was, to be very honest with you guys. Now we move to customize. So before like this button, customize, you can see connectors, you can see skills. So skills are basically things that basically what made Claude really, really famous. This is basically like repeatable stuff that happens. Skills are like super important because it's basically like repeatable prompts that you can give it, and it will almost always give you the same exact answer. People might be like, oh well, how is it different from, you know, copy pasting prompts each single time manually? And I think the answer to that is, when you look at something like this, for example, you know, it not only it has the skill.md, which basically is like a markdown file or like a file that tells what to happen, it also gives enough context. So think of it not as the equivalent of writing a prompt the same exact way and pushing it through. Think of it as writing the prompt, pushing it through, giving it enough context every single time, giving it context of the past run as well if you set the scale up in that particular way. So just long story short, if you have a workflow that, you know, happens time and time again, just use skills for that. That's like top tier thing. Skills are basically like, you can create them, you can get them from GitHub, you can get them like other people. Some people sell skills. I'm not a very big fan of that because I don't think that's like a very defensible business model, to be very honest. You can make your own skills, that's true. And I would actually highly recommend that you do make your own skills, because if you do make your own skills, it's going to teach you a lot more than simply just like reading about it or like seeing my screen. This training is not actually teaching you anything until it actually fucking changes your behavior. So you have to still go out and do the work and only then will your behavior actually change. Okay, so don't just like passively consume this and not try this out yourself right now. Okay, you can be passively consuming because I'm just like showing you things, right? So that was skills, and we will get into all the things like, you know, how to use them, when to use them, blah 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 blah. Just chill out for a moment, right? Okay, and now you have stuff like this. This is connectors, right? Same thing as plugins. You can see all the different ones. I will say connectors in Claude are way more than the plugins that are given in Codex. Like, it's not even close. Like it's just not even close. Like, look at these. These are all like new ones, you know, like crazy. Wow, they've got Replit in there as well. That's insane. Lovable as well. You can see that, you know how you know you're winning in life? When potential competitors start integrating themselves into you. Yeah, that's how you know. Insane, man. And this is like all the new ones, by the way. They have like a shit ton of them. So that's basically what connectors are for. We will go through like which one will you need like for each of your age groups like separately. So that was there. Now you might be thinking, okay, design is something else, but what is design? Design looks a little bit like this. Let me actually just open it up for you, right? So you can actually see how it looks like. We will not go through design in particular because, to be very honest, if you like use Claude easily, like design just becomes like super easy for you. Like there's animation, wireframe, documents, slides, prototype. Prototype is basically basic website, slides is slides, document is if you want to make a document, wireframe is just if you are having like building like an application, you want to get like just like the initial screens right and stuff. Animation is animation, of course. Design system, you can set up your own design system. So if you work only for a particular company, then you can just give it all of the colors that you use and stuff like that, and it will always generate stuff in there. Claude Opus 4.8 effort, again, I personally like to keep it medium. I don't like high that much because otherwise it just like eats through whatever your stuff is like pretty fast, right? So let me just show you one that was there. This was for, you know, this is for shit.actuallyworks.com. Really nicely done, to be honest. I was pretty impressed with like how this turned out. So props to Claude Design for actually working a couple of times. They have now like refined this like quite a lot. Earlier it was like really bad, but yeah. So yeah, this is basically what it is. If you are interested in this, something like this, like maybe I will cover this, but this like kind of goes a little bit away from core Claude functionality, which is home and code. So let me actually show you guys Claude code and let's see if you guys are able to figure out. Did you guys figure out what this is? Exactly. This is the competitor to Codex. Yes. Now you see all of the things. Local, bypass permissions, you guys remember? Add folders, slash commands, connectors, plugins. Yeah, exactly. 4.8, high, enable fast mode. You see all of these things, you know, weekly, 5-hour limit. Now you understand. So this is basically where there's like a difference, that when I say that ChatGPT is a lot similar to what Claude is, Codex is a lot similar to what Claude Code is. So what Codex as of 28 June 2026, that's not the case. So what the hell are things here, right? New session, I don't think I need to tell you about this. Basically just opens up a new session. This will be kept local for the hell of it, right? I don't think you need to anything else. Claude demo is what I had opened up. We can go into vibe coding work, which is like another folder. We can open another folder, right? Not exactly like a very big deal for us. So that's not exactly a problem. We can describe and like ask questions right here, and you would be really surprised that, you know, you can basically use a lot of skills right here as well. We can make it bypass permissions. You post it right here and it will actually start doing. Routines is basically automations, but for Claude Code. The reason, if I am not mistaken, is that routines had a separate consumption window. So it was not consuming from your 5-hour limit or your weekly limit, but it had like a separate run. And the problem with this was that it was like getting exhausted way too fast. So Codex does not have this problem. They just tap into your normal automation limit itself, like the 5-hourly and your weekly limit. So I've actually never used routines myself on Claude, because I remember that when I was using Claude at like even their $200 plan, I was just getting massacred out there because my limits would just go away. Customize is like basically the same thing. We've already gone through the screen once. Dispatch is the same thing as dispatch. We've already covered it. Let me actually show you now the settings, right? So we have got settings right here. So you guys can see basically all of my settings. These are like not that important, I would say personally. Again, random information that will be required. If you want like Claude to just remember things about you, you can just use it right here. Yeah, this is how I use them. You're free to copy them. I don't think there would be a lot of things right here, but yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's about it. Billing, see, I am still on the month pro plan monthly, so I just live on this $21 one. I've been on the $200 plan, as you guys can officially see with your own eyes. Usage is also right here. It's not that big of a deal personally. I try not to use Claude that much because like most of my usage is with like Codex. So yeah, capabilities, you can make yours like these. To be honest, like just keep them like this. Connectors has moved to customize, so we don't get it. You can use these settings for Claude code. Although honestly, like not a lot of these things are like that important. Like once you start working with them, you just kind of work with them. Claude and Chrome is good. This is like decent, but this is all I have. General, this is what I use. They have some of these features which is generally nice. If you ever get like stuck anywhere, you can just let me know. You enable computer use here as well. That's important. Extensions, there are different ones. These are the ones that I use. You can download them through like browse extensions. Shapify. Desktop Commander is a good one because earlier on, like Claude was just like really bad at using my particular file, so Desktop Commander really helped me with that. Developer is, well, developer, I practically never use that, but yeah, that's basically all the things in settings. Upgrade plan, get apps and extensions. You can use this depending on like, do you use like these apps a lot? If yes, then yeah, go ahead, use them. I practically never have to, so I just don't. So I use it sometimes in PowerPoint, don't get me wrong guys, but that's about it. You can view the changelog right here. Changelog is basically a place where you can see all of the recent changes to the application. So you can view it here for Claude, and for Codex, you can just type in like Codex changelog and it's gonna show you all of the things. Learn more. You don't have to. If you are like a developer, you may require like Anthropic API and stuff like that. So for that, you can go through here, but we are going to cover those things probably in the 20 to 30 age group lesson. So yeah, that's basically it. That's both of the platforms. I hope you guys really enjoyed. And yeah, next up, I think the video we will be going for is the 10 to 20 age group. So perfect. See you guys.